Good morning, Your Honours. I call case number IT 0992I, the prosecutor versus Ratko Mladić.
Thank you, Mr. Registrar. Mr. Mladić, during the initial appearance, you are invited to put on your earphones because otherwise you'll not be able to attend to. Mr. Mladić, wait for a second. You'll have an opportunity to speak soon. I already would like to start with the following observation. Mr. Mladić,
I cannot hear anything.
Wait until I give you an opportunity to speak. Could we verify that he's on the? Could we verify that Mr. Mladić is on the right channel, which is, I take it, channel 6?
Now I can hear the Serbian language.
Would you please remain silent at this moment? Wait for a second. You'll have an opportunity to speak.
Thank you.
3rd of June, the Chamber noticed that there was some undesirable silent communication between you, Mr. Mladić, and the public gallery. It seems that this communication was initiated from both sides, that is, from you and from the public gallery. The Chamber will not allow this to happen again. The attendance of the public serves the public character of the trial, not to facilitate communication between the accused and the public, let alone to give an opportunity to express, although silently, any feelings of misgiving by the public towards the accused or vice versa. Measures will be taken if you, Mr. Mladić, or the public would not follow these instructions. Mr. Mladić, already to tell you that representation will be one of the next matters to be discussed. Mr. Mladić, you are communicating with the public gallery. I told you before that measures would be taken if you continue to do that. So would you please focus your attention on the chamber and not communicate with the public gallery? So please look in our direction. We are addressing you. Mr. Mladić, I said that you will have an opportunity to speak soon. Let me first introduce this hearing. During the initial appearance, let me first say good morning to everyone, and may I have the appearances. First, prosecution.
Good morning, Your Honors. For the prosecution, Dermot Groom, Peter McCluskey, and Ms. Janet Stewart.
Thank you, Mr. Groom. Could I have the appearances of the defense?
For the defense of General Ratko Mladić, Aleksandar Aleksić, duty counsel. However, Your Honor, I would kindly ask you if I may address you straight away. Just a few sentences.
Yes, a few sentences you're allowed to speak.
Your Honors, since the initial appearance of General Mladić until today, I visited him in detention more than 10 times. I had totally normal communication with him until last Friday when we last saw each other. On that occasion, General Mladić told me that today he would not appear in court because his chosen counsel has not been appointed yet. However, this morning, when he came to the tribunal, General Mladić refused to communicate with me, and he did not want me to be present here this morning. In view of the fact that the registrar extended the deadline for the appointment of permanent counsel to General Mladić until the 1st of August this year, I would like to add my own voice to that. And due to this overall situation, I would like to ask the trial chamber to postpone the entering of General Mladić's plea until a later date. Rule 62A.4 speaks in the plural of initial appearances and says if the accused does not enter a plea during the initial appearances, then the trial chamber is going to take measures. For the protection of General Mladić's interests, I kindly ask that the entering of his plea be postponed. If he is against my presence in this courtroom, I would like to ask the trial chamber for leave to leave the courtroom. Thank you, Your Honors.
Thank you, Mr. Aleksić. We'll deal with the representation, but we'll first consider your request. Mr. Aleksić, you have made two requests. The first is to postpone this hearing and give an opportunity to Mr. Mladić to enter a plea at a later point in time. That request is denied. The second request was that you would be allowed to leave the courtroom. That request is denied as well. The Chamber fully understands that you're without instructions at this moment, which does not make your task very easy. At the same time, you're appointed as duty counsel, and what the Chamber invites you to do is to intervene, even without instructions, to intervene whenever you consider it to be in the best interests of Mr. Mladić to intervene. We'll deal with representation, as I announced before, soon.
I understand, Your Honor. Thank you.
Let me then introduce today's hearing. Mr. Mladić, during the initial appearance of the 3rd of June 2011, you decided not to enter a plea on the counts of the indictment. Instead, you chose to do so 30 days from the initial appearance. At least you asked for more time, but that's what the Chamber decided. That is within the 30 days as provided for by the rules. And it is for this purpose that the Chamber has scheduled today's hearing. Before we proceed, however, with this, the Chamber would like to deal with some other matters first. During the initial appearance, and I'm talking about your health, you have drawn the Chamber's attention to a number of issues related to your health. You then gave consent for the registry to provide the Chamber with your medical documentation. Subsequent to the initial appearance, the Chamber requested that the registry provide this documentation to the Chamber no later than the 29th of June 2011 and informed the registry accordingly through an informal communication. According to a memorandum from the registrar to the Chamber, dated the 30th of June 2011, the reporting medical officer at the United Nations Detention Unit indicated that you no longer gave your consent to provide the Chamber with your medical documentation. Therefore, the Chamber did not receive it. The reporting medical officer further informed the Chamber that, in his opinion, there was no medical reason which would prohibit you from attending and participating in the further appearance which was scheduled for today. And it is on this basis that the Chamber has decided to proceed as planned today. I now move to the second item I'd like to raise. That is your legal representation. On the 1st of July 2011, the registrar requested an extension of time for the assignment of permanent counsel for you pursuant to Rule 62C of the Rules of Procedure and Evidence. In the registrar's request, which was filed publicly, the registrar sets out the steps taken by representatives of the registry and by you, the representatives of the registry and you, Mr. Mladić, with regard to this issue. Based on the information provided to the Chamber is satisfied that this matter is about to be resolved, and that the Chamber has granted and grants the request for assignment of counsel a bit later than provided for in the rules. Apparently, your representation is a matter of major concern to you at this moment. I therefore invite you to briefly address the Chamber on the matter. But before you do so, I already introduced the matter as follows. You've had, I think, altogether 4 meetings with the registry in which assignment of counsel was discussed. The Chamber was also informed that you had expressed your preference for counsel to be assigned. I do understand that your preference was Mr. Šaljić from Belgrade and a lawyer from Russia. The Chamber was also informed that at a point in time, Mr. Mladić, if you continue to address the public gallery rather than the Chamber, as I said before, measures will be taken. Yes, Mr. Mladić. If you don't activate your microphone, we'll not hear you. If you want to say anything, please.
Mr. Ori, I am not underestimating you in any way. I hear better in my left ear and I'm cold on my head. Let me put my cap on. Half of my body isn't functioning. I'm not underestimating you in any way. I want to communicate with you in a humane way. You are trying to impose impossible conditions on me, a lawyer I don't want, and I'm just going to look at you.
Mr. Mladić, if there's any problem with your medical condition, the Chamber could have addressed that matter if we would have had the medical information which you told we should not receive. Therefore, under the present circumstances, we'll just continue and there's no need to put a cap on your head. If any medical information at any later stage would indicate that this would be an appropriate measure to meet your medical concerns, then we'll consider that. Mr. Mladić, I invited you to briefly address the representation issue. As I said before, you had 4 meetings with registry staff. You have expressed your preference for preferred counsel to be present. They have not been assigned yet. Apart from the 2 preferred counsel at any point in time, also a list of 7 potential counsel has been discussed with you. One of the issues which needs to be resolved is that there's no right of audience for any counsel who is not qualified and, as a result, admitted to the list. I do understand that the registry is working hard on verifying whether counsel of your preference, whether they could be admitted to the list, yes or no, whether they qualify, yes or no. So that matter is dealt with. I also understand that it was only very recently that you came up with names, not giving the registry much opportunity to deal with the matter. I think they had left only 7 to 10 days to deal with the matter. I further understand that an opportunity has been given even to visit you during the weekends, and that any potential counsel was able to visit you. So therefore the registry is working hard on the matter, and the matter not yet being resolved but soon being resolved, we will proceed. If, however, you would like to raise any matter in this respect, you have a brief opportunity to do so now.
How much time do I have in terms of minutes to say this briefly?
Well, let's say it's my professional assessment that 2 minutes or 3 minutes will do. Please proceed.
Since I'm an elderly man and sickly, can I be given 5 minutes to say that?
Mr. Mladić, you're invited to start. If you...
I understand. I understood that. Mr. Ori.
Da skratimo priču.
To cut this story short, I request that 2 attorneys attend my trial, Mr. Miloš Šaljić and Mr. Aleksandar Medjev. Mr. Šaljić was a military judge for many years, highly competent. He visited me in my cell, and I spoke to him at length for 4 hours. I wish...
Mr. Mladić, 1 second. If you have certain counsel of preference, you don't have to explain the reasons to the court why you prefer them. We do understand that you have had discussions with all potential counsel, including Mr. Šaljić. Therefore, that is understood. Please proceed.
Ja vas molim.
I ask you kindly that Mr. Aleksandar Medjev be allowed to come. I don't know him personally. I would like him to come so that we meet, and that he, Šaljić, and I draft the concept of my defense before this court. As for other attorneys, I'm not asking for them, and I don't need them.
Mr. Mladić, whether or not someone can visit you in the United Nations detention unit is in the hands of the registry. So I take it, Mr. Registrar, that you have taken notice of the fact that Mr. Mladić would like to be visited by Mr. Mistreated. Is that correct?
Yes, Your Honours, we will facilitate the visit.
Thank you, Mr. Registrar. Any other matter, Mr. Mladić, in relation to your representation?
Želim da mi produžite još
I wish for you to extend my time. I would kindly ask for a month, so that together with my 2 lawyers and my son, we meet up at the detention unit and that we clarify the situation that I'm in, I with them and they with me. It's no use for you to try imposing a lawyer on me through the registry. As for this young man, he's young and likable. I don't want to offend him in any way.
Mr. Mladić, as I told you before, assignment of counsel is primarily responsibility of the registrar. We have received reports. You are working hard with the registry on this matter to be resolved, and let me just consult with my colleagues.
molim.
Mr. Mladić, a similar request was made by Mr. Alexic a couple of minutes ago. That request was denied, and your submissions have not changed the position of the Chamber in this respect. Therefore, we'll proceed. But before we go into the procedure of...
No, I won't.
Mr. Mladić, you'll have an opportunity to speak if I give you an opportunity to do so. Mr. Mladić, my question to you is, and I can guess what the answer will be, but let's just hear it from you. Are you ready to enter pleas today, yes or no?
Gospodine Ori.
Mr. Ori.
Vi možete da radite šta god hoćete.
You can do whatever you want. Without Mr. Šaljić and without Mr. Aleksandar Mezeev, there is no need for me to receive anything or to say anything, and you do as you wish. You are not letting me have...
Mr. Mladić, I do understand...
You want to impose...
Mr. Mladić, I do not want to impose anything